अब मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ श्री संजय सिंघल साहब को। आप यूसीसीआई के सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट के पद पर आसीन हैं तथा आपका इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीटरिंग के प्रथम अन्वेषक के रूप में अभूतपूर्व योगदान रहा है। वर्तमान में आप सिक्योर मीटर्स लिमिटेड के चेयरमैन के पद का कार्यभार संभाल रहे हैं। आपकी संस्कृत तथा वेदों के अध्ययन में अत्यधिक रुचि है तथा इस ज्ञान को जन जन तक पहुंचाने के लिए आप कार्यरत हैं। मैं आपसे अनुरोध करती हूं कि वह हमें यूसीसीआई के दूरगामी लक्ष्यों से अवगत कराएं।
Good morning, everybody. Unfortunately, we are missing our two chief guests today, but these are circumstances which we all can understand, and I'm sure you will sympathize with the situation we have been put in the last 2 or 3 days. Given that now we have a little bit more time, I'd like to use this opportunity. This wouldn't have been in the original program if we'd had our chief guests, but now that it is, I'd like to use this opportunity to really talk about UCCI, where it has been, where it could go, and where it should go. And to me, these are very, very important questions. So recently, the Government of India redefined what micro, small, medium, and large enterprises mean. It took us a long time, nearly 10 months, to understand our own membership along the simple lines of who is micro, who is small, how many are small, how many are medium, and how many are large. Having done that effort, we realized that 88% of our membership is between the micro and the small enterprises, and 12% is medium and large. So that's one big group of members who we've got to think about. 71% of our membership comes from the manufacturing or the service industries, and 29% are either professionals or are traders. Given this insight, we now need to think of what UCCI stands for, what it should do, what it shouldn't do. Most trade associations traditionally, people have thought of, their key role is advocacy, is lobbying government for solving the problems of its members, the common problems of its members. And in the days of past, this used to be very important because the government was involved with every aspect of business, whether it was getting cement to do construction or whether it was getting permits for import and all that. With the demolition of the license Raj in the 90s, that role of advocacy and lobbying is gradually reducing. And as the government introduces more and more technology in its work, like it has done with GST, with customs, with Provident Fund and so on, even the operational issues on which we needed to talk to the government are now reducing. And yet we have this membership, we have this phenomenal infrastructure. What do we do with it? How do we use it properly? So UCCI needs to expand what it does away from advocacy. Not away from advocacy, we do advocacy and we do it well. I mean, last year's budget, this year's budget, we made major contributions and they were reflected in the way the politicians thought about it. But with 95% of the membership belonging to MSME, and now I'm including the medium enterprises also, we really need to redefine what UCCI stands for. So what apart from advocacy should UCCI be doing? If you look at the past, we operated really well and did excellent service when it came to COVID and providing oxygen plants and running vaccination camps and so on and so forth. It was the need of the hour, but that is the sort of thing which Rotary clubs and Lions clubs do. What differentiates UCCI from these social kind of clubs? And fundamentally, it's about our membership, isn't it? It's about the micro, the medium, the small enterprises. How do we become better at serving these enterprises? if our members are our customers, does UCCI really know what the customers want? And anybody will tell you, and all of you know this very well because you're all in business, if you don't know what your customers want, there is no way you will ever succeed in business. And unfortunately, this has been a major barrier for UCCI. And I'll be brutally honest, most people and most business people and most members of UCCI do not believe that UCCI can do anything useful. I'm being completely and brutally honest, having made many attempts to engage with our membership on important matters. Like post-COVID, we had this big issue of cash flow problems with almost all businesses. When UCCI said, right, let's take a step forward, let's see how we can help businesses, let's identify what the problems are, nobody came forward. Now, why is that? Because people don't believe that UCCI, as an industry association, can help businesses. Now, if we were not a Rotary Club and we behaved as if we were an industry association, we would have done all the oxygen plants and we would have done all the vaccination camps. But at the same time, we would have been running virtual sessions with hundreds of people in attendance on how do you manage cash flow in times of lockdown? How do you deal with employees in times of lockdown? What is company A doing and how can company B, C, and D learn from it? But that is not in the DNA of UCCI as yet. Now, we need to change that. Very simply, if an organization cannot serve its customers, it doesn't deserve to exist. So what are we doing? What are we doing? The first point is this business of not having engagement with our membership. I'm happy to inform you that this year we appointed a chief executive, Colonel Ananchi Chaktawat, and one of the things he's been doing in the last 4 months has been going and individually visiting our membership. And when he goes there and he says, look, this is what UCCI stands for, how can we help you, how can we engage, at least it is creating a little bit of a pull. We need to do a lot more of that. UCCI needs to reach out, but if a hand is extended and it isn't held and turned into a handshake, it doesn't work very well. The other thing we're trying to do is how do we take our general message out to our membership. So we're working on a social media strategy. We're completely revamping the website so that information that UCCI gets from, say, government policy changes, new notifications, and so on and so forth, today there is no way to push all that information down to members. And even if there was, we don't know who is interested in what. I'll give you an example. If your industry is in the Goodley industrial area and there is something, an electrical outage to be given in the Madadi industrial area, you're not interested. We should be able to focus that message to the Madadi industrial area to say, you're going to experience an outage for 6 hours here. It's stuff like that we just can't do because we haven't got the computing infrastructure. So we're putting that in place. Tenders are out so that we can build a new website, we can build new business systems around that, which can have a focused delivery of information and notifications. Ultimately, it is about what the members want. And what we did a few days ago, and to me it was just a revelation. We engaged with 50 or 60 younger nominees of our members and people who were not our members. And what we learned in that one session has completely transformed at least my thinking on what UCCI should be doing. What we heard was how does and where are the limitations in entrepreneurial thinking? What stops businesses or what holds businesses back from growth? if UCCI became a catalyst for helping its members grow their businesses, that's the biggest service UCCI can provide. And how does it become a catalyst? We didn't know. We ran a number of entrepreneurial development programs. They had a good response. People came, people learned, people went away. How much of that got turned into actual work on the ground in their businesses, we don't know. Where the limitations are, where are the limitations? What stops entrepreneurs, small entrepreneurs from becoming medium entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs from becoming small entrepreneurs? And learning from that, we've planned today's panel discussion. How does one think big and make it happen? Now, thinking big is not the scale of Reliance. Thinking big is for a hotel owner who's running 20 hotels to say, how can I make this 200 rooms from my 20 rooms in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. And then making it happen. And what we discovered at the session with the youth were real problems, which are what I call entrepreneurial mindset problems. Issues to do with, I am limited. I'm not unlimited in my thinking, I am limited in my thinking. Why am I limited? I don't know, but I'm limited in my thinking. I'm not skilled enough, so entrepreneurial skills as a limitation. Availability of skilled manpower to do whatever work they want to do as a limitation. Family issues, intergenerational issues as a limitation to growth. Availability of finance as an issue and a limitation to growth. And all of this emerged in just 1 2-hour session. And that was the first time UCCI actually sat down with its customers and said, what do we need to do? Now, all these issues, entrepreneurial skills, thinking big, vocational skill development, handling family matters and family issues, general principles of doing it, availability of finance, all these are areas where UCCI can catalyze its members, can help its members by giving them frameworks to think. Okay, this is a problem, this is how you think about it. If father and son are not getting along, well, it's not a unique problem to your family. Every family has seen it. How did families who successfully solved the problem solved it? Here are some examples. This is the general principles on which the father and the son need to think and work together. Because intergenerational issues are not unique to any one person's business. Everybody has these problems. These are common issues. And management thinkers like the IIM Udaipur and UCCI is networked really with the best brains in the country in these matters, have solved these problems before. Why can't we bring these problems, these solutions to our members? And I believe if UCCI was to do that, we would be providing a real service to our members. And that is the future direction for UCCI. UCCI alone can't do it. Till the membership really believes it can be effective, until the membership really demands what it expects. From my experience in business, Secure Meters became the world-class enterprise that it is simply because we went and served world-class customers, and they were the most demanding customers we ever had. The more demanding your customer, the better your organization becomes. The more difficult your competition, the better our organization becomes. Competition is not a threat. Difficult customers are not a threat. They're an opportunity to grow. And my appeal to all our members is make it difficult for the office bearers to deliver to your expectations. The point very simply is, UCCI exists, but if it is not serving its membership, it has no reason to exist. And I only know one thing, UCCI not only will exist, but it will grow and it will prosper. And to all of us, that growth and prosperity is impossible if our members are not prosperous and growing. And that's where the synergy lies. That's what we've got to work together. That is what the future of UCCI is. Thank you very much.